Hey everybody, it is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul. Now, if you have watched the channel for a while here, you no doubt have heard me say in other videos how utterly fascinating I find it is that there are so many, just endless numbers of ways to encounter music, to hear music, to discover new music, and especially to connect with certain music or certain artists, certain songs emotionally. How is that connection made to a certain artist or a certain song? That just fascinates me to no end. And of course, given that all of the songs that I play on the channel are songs that I genuinely love, I have connections, of all different kinds to all different artists and songs. And it just gets me to no end how there is a story behind every single song, and the stories are just endlessly different. That just gets me. So today we have another example of that. It's just this very circuitous route of where a song gets released, and I don't find out about it for many, many years. And then when I do find out about it, I just fall in love with it. And we've been down that road a few times, right? And we are going down that road again right now. Now, I got to show you a couple different things here. So this goes back to 1977, okay? And this is Todd Rundgren's group Utopia. There's the album, Oops, Wrong Planet. Now, already I can tell you, regardless of what I previously thought of Todd Rundgren, and I've always liked a lot of Todd Rundgren's music, as I'll explain here in a second, I'm immediately loving the album title here because, my God, how many times have I felt like this in my life? And I already know, before we even hear the song, that Todd Rundgren is a kindred spirit because he had one of those oops, wrong planet moments, and he felt so strongly about it that he named the album after that. I love that. Yeah, oops, wrong planet. No kidding. Just waiting for the mothership to come back. Remember that they left me here. That's all. So that's 1977. Todd Rundgren and Utopia. Oops, wrong planet. And the song we are going to hear is called Love is the Answer. Now, the weird part of this, let me give you just a little bit of background, just very quick overview of Todd Rundgren to just kind of place this song in a context of his career here. So just very quickly before we get to the song and what the real backstory is here. So Todd Rundgren's first appearance on the chart came back in 1968 when he was a part of the group Nas. And in 1968, 1969, and 1970, Nas released 3 songs that barely made a little bit of a dent on the chart, enough to have their name on the chart, but nothing of real significance, no sort of breakthrough hits or real big impact on the chart for Todd Rundgren and Nas. That was in 68, 69, and 1970. Well, in 1970, actually, Todd Rundgren releases a song as a solo artist called We Gotta Get You a Woman. Now, there's a cool song. If you know that one, you know that's a great song. And that was sort of Todd Rundgren's breakthrough hit there. He got all the way up to number 20 on the pop chart in 1970 with We Gotta Get You a Woman. Pretty cool tune. 1972, 2 years later, his next big solo hit, I Saw the Light, another great song. Todd Rundgren gets that one all the way up to number 16. Okay, so now he's clearly broken through. He's had 2 top 20 hits here in 2 years. He goes into 1973 and his re-released version of his own song, Hello, It's Me, his signature, his classic tune, Hello, It's Me. That goes all the way up to number 5 there in 1973. And I can tell you from personal experience, having been 15 years old and riding the school bus to school every day when that song came out, man, Hello, It's Me was on the radio morning, noon, and night for years there. What a huge hit song that was back in 1973. And of course, it is clearly his signature song. 1977, okay, now we're jumping up to 1977. So now Todd Rundgren's got 3 top 20 hits there. We Gotta Get You a Woman, I Saw the Light, Hello, It's Me. He's got his solo career well established. 1977, Todd Rundgren and Utopia, oops, wrong planet. They released this song, Love Is the Answer, as a single. And it doesn't even chart at all. And now, while I had an awareness, as I just said a second ago, of Todd Rundgren's previous hit records, I didn't know the whole backstory. Now I'm going back to the 70s, when we were in the 70s. In the 70s, I knew all of those 3 hit songs that I just mentioned. Hello, It's Me, I Saw the Light, and We Gotta Get You a Woman. I knew Todd Rundgren to that extent. I liked those songs just fine. I liked all 3 of those songs. But I wasn't an aficionado of Todd Rundgren. I didn't know his complete backstory. I didn't, really have a sense of a historical context for him and his music. I just knew that I liked those songs. So in 1977, when he and Utopia released Love Is the Answer as a single, and it doesn't even chart, right? This is his own song, and it doesn't even chart. I have zero awareness that ever even happened. Okay, so all I continue to know of Todd Rundgren is those 3 previous hit songs. Well, a couple years later, now we're up to 1979, and these guys are on the radio with a huge hit song. And I mean a huge hit song. I'm talking a number 10 song on the pop charts in the US and number 1 on the adult contemporary chart. It is, of course, England Dan and John Ford Coley. And it looks like the mescaline just kicked in there a second ago for the gentleman. And this is their version of Love Is the Answer. As I said, this is a huge hit song in 1979. So obviously, I was very familiar with this song. And this song was everywhere. It was on the radio nonstop as well, right? And now somewhere along the line, I may or may not have heard a DJ or somebody say, oh, that's the Todd Rundgren song. I honestly don't remember. I'm sure a DJ at some point when they played this record, I must have heard a DJ say, well, there's England Dan and John Ford Coley doing the Todd Rundgren song. I probably heard that, but if I did, it went in one ear and out the other. So if you would have asked me, hey, who wrote that song, Love Is the Answer, that big hit for England Dan and John Ford Coley, I would have said, I have no idea. Okay? So fast forward years and years and years and years and years, and I don't even know how many years, but quite a few years, decades, shall we say, passed to 1979. Several decades passed. And at some point, I'm doing something that involves Todd Rundgren and maybe one of his albums or one of his compilations or something. And I come across a reference to the fact that Todd Rundgren wrote Love Is the Answer and actually originally recorded it himself. And so here you have this situation that, just was completely under the radar to me because the artist writes the song, he records his own song, he releases it as a single, it goes nowhere. Somebody else picks up that song, has an enormous hit with it, and comes to be identified with it, at least to a casual fan of that style of music. Like I wouldn't have gone out and bought England Dan and John Ford Coley's record back there in 1979 because I was into all kinds of other stuff in 1979. And even hearing England Dan and John Ford Coley doing that song on the radio, that was good enough for me. I never needed to own that song or anything else that they ever did. I'm not putting them down, I just didn't care for that. I had so many other musical tastes that I was into. So, but at some point, many, many, many years later there, I come to find out that song is a Todd Rundgren song. And I actually either had a CD or a record or something. I don't know how I came across his version. And when I heard it, oh my goodness. Now, like I said, I liked those old Todd Rundgren songs. I'm not a Todd Rundgren aficionado. I'm basically, I have a basic understanding of his career and who he's worked with and the artists that he's produced. And he did some great stuff back in the early days with Hall & Oates that I especially appreciate. Being a Hall & Oates fan, I thought Todd Rundgren brought some pretty cool stuff to the Hall & Oates sound back there in the day. But so I have a general, basic understanding of Todd Rundgren's place in the scheme of things. And as I said, I liked those previous big hits of his that I had heard. But when I heard his original version, which was released in 1977, and I don't know how, I either never heard it or maybe I only heard it once on the FM radio or something. I don't know how to explain that I had no awareness of it at all. So when I came across it here not too many years ago, sadly to say that I was that unaware, when I did come across it and hear it, I was knocked out. And everything, it's like all of the qualities that I always liked about Todd Rundgren, the passion in his singing. I mean, I don't think he's a particularly gifted, I don't think he has a particularly gifted voice. But then the second I say that, I have to be careful because he's so in his own skin and he's so comfortable in his own skin and with his voice that he can sing in a completely uninhibited fashion. And I think it's his lack of inhibition in his vocals that actually allows him to sort of transcend the limitations of his voice, because he's just got such passion and such feeling in his vocals and he lets it go. And I think by just letting his voice go like that, he can go to some places vocally that maybe someone who is trying to be more under control, or, and I don't mean that in a bad way, maybe somebody that was more under control or more inhibited would not be able to get to that sort of really juicy, passionate sound that Todd Rundgren gets to on so many of these great songs that I already mentioned. I mean, he does it in every single one of those big hit singles that he had. And certainly, when I heard this one, I was like, oh my, here we go again. You know, I thought I liked, I Saw the Light, especially. I've always loved that one. I thought that would have been my favorite Todd Rundgren song. But when I heard this, I said, oh man, he put the whole thing together in this song, and so much soul, and it's so sincere. And forget about England, Dan and John Ford Coley, man. This is where it's at for Love Is the Answer and Todd Rundgren. And I love it to death now. It's my favorite Todd Rundgren song. And if you guys already knew this one, kudos to you. And if you don't, I hope you love it as much as I do. It is Todd Rundgren, 1977, Love Is the Answer. goodness, man, this one, I just get chills when I really tune into this one, really dial into this one and pay attention like I am right now. God, I get chills. His vocal performance is just, he always gives a passionate vocal performance. Don't get me wrong. But man, I think on this one, he just let it all out. And it is just such a beautiful thing to hear. All that soul and all that passion in Todd Rundgren's voice. But when they get into this whole B section here with the gospel thing, I'm going to try and keep it together here, folks. But it's going to get a little fuzzy in here. Tell me, are we alive? That right there is what we call a funky white boy. Todd Rundgren giving us all the soul and all the feeling and all the passion. And that is that's a lyric right there that brother was feeling. He felt it when he wrote it. He felt it when he sang it and recorded it. And, not to slight England Dan and John Ford Coley. They had a big hit with them. Congrats to them. Obviously that benefited Todd Rundgren as well. But I don't think anyone ever could have covered this song with even a fraction of the conviction that its writer clearly felt. And that's Todd Rundgren. I mean, it's his song, right? This stuff has meaning to him, and he has complete conviction, obviously, being the writer and the producer and the vocalist and the whole package. I mean, so when I discovered this and I heard that whole vibe there in the second half of the song, I was like, give me some of that, Todd. Take me to church. And a new favorite and pretty impressive little string of songs there for Todd Rundgren. And of course, now I have a whole new appreciation for him as a vocalist, certainly as an artist in general, as a producer for what he's done for other artists. A pretty cool cat, Mr. Todd Rundgren. Thank you for Love is the Answer. His original version from 1977, not the one you heard on the radio in 1979. You got to go back to the original, man. Yeah. Oops, wrong planet. Right? And this is how you know you're on the wrong planet. When you see this, you go, oops, wrong planet. There we go. We got the gold pyramid there in the middle of the matrix. Ooh, are they foreshadowing the Matrix? And was he saying that love is the answer and that's how you get out of the Matrix? Interesting. Todd giving us some messages there. All right, Todd Rundgren fans, hope you dug that one as much as I did. I've had that one on the queue here for quite a while. Could not wait to get to it. So glad we did it. Oh, man, wait till you hear what I'm coming back with. This next one's going to be a blast, too. See you in a little while. Bzz. We gotta get you a woman. That was a good one. Then I saw the light in your eyes. That's a great one. Hello, it's me. You. Oh, Todd Rundgren, man. Give it up for that funky white boy singing with all that soul. Thank you, Todd. See you guys.